Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a nice week 12 of football. If you participated, maybe you did not. But maybe you watched, maybe you had some turkey, stuffing, all the essentials for Thanksgiving. This is Lee with Eel Chief Sports. Thanks for tuning in again. Week 12, we went about 50-50. Won some, lost some. A little choppy during the morning and afternoon games. Picked it up. We hit the Sunday night game. We also hit the Monday night game. So certain games are going our way, and some of these games are just a play here or there that just kind of changes things. But overall, I still haven't had a week that I've been under 50%. So I'm keeping the momentum going into week 13. Let's figure this out. Tomorrow night's game. I tape these on Wednesdays. All my picks are for entertainment purposes only, or you can gamble, whatever you choose. And my lines are with DraftKings Sportsbook. I tape these on Wednesdays, so these are the live odds right now. Everything's subject to change by a little clicker here. I'm gonna buy a couple half of points this week too, because that saved our ass on the Packers game last week. We had 6.5, we bought it to 7, so we pushed. So little games like that, these little half of points. We should have taken a half a point on the Rams because they were 15.5. We should have taken the half to 16. That would have been made a push instead of a loss. So we're gonna do a couple of half of points this week. Let's start with the Thursday night game. Both of these teams played on Thanksgiving, so they had this. They had the same amount of rest, so they both played exactly a week ago. Uh, from tomorrow, division game: 8-3 Bills, Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots, 6-5. Both teams are obviously in the same division, AFC East. The Bills are coming off a very close game against the Lions on Thanksgiving. Josh Allen, the Bills aren't blowing out teams like they were the first few games of the year. They're winning games, but they're not as dominant. But they are winning though. They are winning games against the Patriots. The Patriots were competitive against the Vikings, and then the Vikings beat him at the end. This is an interesting line, 3.5. They want you to take the Buffalo Bills on this. I like to take the Bills. I know most handicappers are taking the Bills. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm going to take the hook at 3.5. This could be a 3-point game easily. I don't have to buy a half a point. Let the Bills win by 3. But Bill Belichick's going to play them tough this game. I know this game was very lopsided when they initially played this game earlier this year, but you can't always go by that. Give me the Patriots. And those who watch my videos, I think I'm undefeated on Thursday night games. So I hope to keep that trend going. So you watch every other video I've made, I've hit every single Thursday night game. So I'm going to take the Patriots plus 3.5. So records are due to lose, right? They're due to break. I'm going to try it. 3.5. Patriots. Tomorrow night. Sometimes you got to zig when they zag. I always have a best play and a second best play. This is neither of those picks, but that's the way I'm going. Moving on, 4-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a nice win on Monday night against the Colts, against the Falcons. Falcons have just been let down the second half of the season. Falcons, the first few games they were covering, they were winning some games, coming back. They seem to have lost some ground here. Now they have some injury issues. This is a tough game, but I don't have much more to comment on this one. Both of these teams are not going to be in the playoffs. They're both under 500. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Steelers are on a short week and they are traveling again. I usually don't like that, but the Falcons are a team. They screwed me last week. I did pick them against the Commanders. So I'm trying to not pick the same teams each week. I don't have much more logic than that. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 1. I just think they're maybe a click better, and Kenny Pickett's trying to win some games just to seal his job for next year. So that's my logic behind that. Not a whole lot, not a great game to play. I don't generally take over under, but there might be a high scoring game. Moving on, man, this is probably the toughest game of the week. And the bettors out there, you'll know why. 3-8 Denver Broncos against the Baltimore Ravens, 7-4. Why is this the hardest game of the week? Gamblers, you tell me. Why? Because both these teams do not like to cover. The Broncos don't like to cover. The Ravens don't like to cover. Each week I tend to pick these teams. They don't cover. The Ravens will win. They didn't last week, but they generally win. They do not like to cover. And the Broncos doesn't seem. You give me all these points, I don't like to cover. Very tough game. Gamblers, you know what I'm talking about. Um, so, very tough game. I want to take the points here, but I said to myself last week, because the Broncos just cannot score points against the Panthers, who are not a good team, but whoever the Broncos play, the team opposing them looks good that day. Uh, I don't want to lay the points, but I'm going to have to. Give me the Baltimore Ravens, -8. So I have to lay over a touchdown, which I don't want to do, but I just trust the Ravens a tad more than the Broncos. Again, this is probably the hardest game of the week. Gamblers, you know what I'm talking about. But I would avoid it at all costs. Moving on, 4-8 Packers. Packers are coming off a loss against the Eagles, but they were coming back at the end. They allowed a lot of points early in the game, but they were coming back against the Bears, the division game. The Packers usually have their number, um, but this is type of year where the Packers are 4-8. I haven't seen the Packers 4-8 in a very long time, especially with Aaron Rodgers. So they're having some problems. The Bears, they did. I picked the Bears last week. They had quarterback issues. They got blown out against the Jets, I believe. Um, so this is a tough game. Now they want you to take the Packers because you only have to lay 4.5 points. I am going to go the other way. I don't know if Fields is playing or not, but it's Chicago is they're trying to beat the Packers at some point. This is kind of a if they can beat them, it'll be a victory because they hate the Packers. This is a big division game, and they're at home in Chicago. It's gonna be nice and cold weather for this game. Packers playing cold weather, but it's on the road, hostile environment. Give me the Chicago Bears, and I'm gonna get 4.5 points at home. And those of you just joining me, follow me on Twitter at EelChief, and please do subscribe to my channel. Comments on some videos here if you have any feedback. I'm still kind of new at this as far as these videos and everything. And if you have your own channel, you want me to hop on yours, I'm interested in doing that. You could email me, and my email is in my description on my page. So you can email me. That's my direct link. Okay, that's eelchief@gmail.com. Moving on, 4-7 Jaguars. We hit them last week. Against the Lions, 4-7. Lions had a very strong game against the Bills. They gave it up at the very end. I'm expecting the Lions. Even though I do pick the Lions a lot. I'm gonna fade them this week. They might have a little bit of a letdown this week, just because they were like, oh, we almost beat the Bills, but they just didn't quite get it done. Jacksonville's a team where I've taken quite a bit this year. They don't like to cover either last week. Maybe they can build some momentum off of it. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars plus the 1 point. So Jacksonville +1. Moving on. This is going to be our best play this week. So I have a best play and a second best play. So 4-7 Browns. Cleveland Browns. Browns are coming off a win. That was one of our wins we had last week. A lot of people were on Tampa Bay. We went with the Browns. Browns beat them in overtime. Browns play better at home. We knew that. They're giving them a tough game. Against the Texans, 1-9-1. The Texans lose every game, but they seem like they have a chance in every single game that they play. Texans, they played at Miami. I did take Miami last week. I think I had to give 14 points, and they won by 15. It's amazing how close it gets. But I picked these on Wednesday, so I think the line was kept moving and kept moving. But the Dolphins still covered. The Texans, this is a game because it's all about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's coming back to Houston for this one game. A lot of fans are going to be in the stands for this game. This is like Houston's Super Bowl. Houston's getting 7 points at home. This is what we're going to do. Houston Texans, give me the touchdown. Texans are going to be my best play this week. I think they show up against the Browns. I think they show up against Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson hasn't played a game in, I think, almost 2 full seasons, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read an article like 700 days or something like that. So it's pretty much 2 years. He's dealt with a lot of legal stuff. This is his first game back. He's at Houston. So eventually I think they'll be an okay team, but he's just hopping on this team at the wrong time. They're a bad team, bad-ish team. I'm not saying Cleveland's a bad team. It's just that Cleveland's not a winning team. They've only won 4 times this year. Houston Texans are my best play this week. At home, give me the 7 points. I think Houston might win this game outright, but give me the 7 points. That's my best play this week. Okay, Houston Texans. Moving on, New York Jets. The Jets always find a way to get it done nowadays. 7-4 at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 9-2, and they keep talking about the Cowboys. They keep talking about the Eagles. The Vikings are 9-2. They're right there within the NFC elite. They're right there in the race. Very interesting line. The Vikings are only -3. Don't even have to give any more. That's a scary line. Why? Because they want you to take the Vikings. The Jets are coming off a good win. I know it's against Chicago, but you know what? I'm going to take the New York Jets. New York Jets, they're 7-4. They're scoring points. I'm going to get 3 points. I probably should buy a half a point, but I'm not. I'm just going to take the field goal. That's the line, the true line right now. +3 Jets. That's my play for this game. Moving on, another New York team. We got the the Commanders, 7-5. Commanders, they've really have turned it on the second half of the season. At the New York Giants, 7-4. Giants have been on a little bit of a skid lately. I know they had a backdoor cover at the end on Thursday Night Football, so they have a little extra rest for this game. The Commanders they're coming in very hot. I think the Commanders are the hottest team right now as far as where they started and where they are now. I'm not saying they're the best team, but they're the hottest team as far as momentum. This is a tough game because, a few weeks ago, if you would have told me the Commanders were favored by 2.5 at the Giants, I would have thought you were crazy. If you would have told me that like week 3, week 4, I'm like, no way, that's not possible. That's what it is right now. The Giants cannot afford to lose this game if they want to try to make the playoffs. It's interesting. I think both New York teams are 7-4, and they are. I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going to buy a half a point on this game. So give me the Giants. It's 2.5, moving it up to 3. So +3 Giants, purchasing a half a point. That's going to be my play for this game. Moving on, Tennessee Titans. They let us down a little bit last week. They had a tough game against the Bengals. I knew it was going to be a tough game, but I thought the Titans, they had opportunities in that game. They only allowed 20 points, but they only scored 16. At the Eagles, 10-1. Eagles are coming off Sunday night win against the Packers. They had a good showing there. The Titans are a good team. They're 7-4. Their defense is good. If they can get Henry going, they always have opportunities. The Titans are a team I've been taking quite a bit as of late. They generally be winning and covering. They didn't last week. I'm gonna stick with them this week though. Give me the Tennessee Titans +4.5 against the Eagles. Tough game. Eagles, they like to score, but if Tennessee can hold them down a little bit, Tennessee has a chance to win this game. Tennessee played the Chiefs tight. Some other games this year too. So they played the Bengals tough. They just lost it at the end last week. Moving on, 6-5, Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks is another game we had last week, and that flipped at the very end. So I feel like I should have got it, 2 or 3 games better than I did last week. Because all the games that I quote-unquote lost, these teams had the lead at some point in the game. That's how it goes sometimes. It's about the final score. Against the Seahawks are playing the Rams 3-8. The Rams are just god-awful. The Rams shouldn't even get on the field for this game. It's embarrassing because the Super Bowl champions, they're playing the Seahawks. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that in week 13, the Super Bowl champion Rams would be 3-8 and 7.5 point underdog against the Seahawks without Russell Wilson, that would be kind of nutty. That's the situation we find ourselves in. I don't like to, where I find myself losing these little bets is sometimes these half a points going the other way. And I'm just getting tired of it. So what I'm going to do, because right now the line is 7.5. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to buy it down the other way. I'm going to buy it to a flat 7. So I'm going to pay a little extra for that. So give me the Seattle Seahawks. I don't want to lay more than a touchdown on the road, though, regardless if it's the Rams. I just want to protect myself just a little bit. Give me the Seattle Seahawks -7, buying a half a point negative, okay? So gamblers out there will know what the hell I mean. But that half a point, it's not worth it. Sometimes these games get really tight. Moving on, Miami Dolphins 8-3. Dolphins are coming off a nice game against the Texans at the 49ers. This might be the best game of the week as far as to watch. A lot of people are going to be on the Niners this game, understandably so. They did shut out the Saints, but that is the Saints. The Saints aren't that good. But they want you to take, a lot of people are on the Niners, and the Niners, understandably so, they look really, really good. They look solid, and they're at home, the Niners. So, and they're at home again for a second week. But I like what Miami's doing. Miami, I'm getting 4 points and a team that could score. Miami's no joke. They're going to be one of the best teams in the AFC this year. I think they're going to be a sleeper in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take Miami Dolphins and the 4 points. I know a lot of handicappers going the other way, but I'm going to take a shot with Miami. I think they might make it a 3-point game. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami won this game. So give me the Dolphins on this one. All right, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, coming off a nice win against the Rams last week. They were supposed to beat them at the Bengals. This is an interesting game because this is a revenge game for the postseason last year because the Cincinnati Bengals, I remember this game very well. Chief fans remember that game. They got screwed at the end. This is a very tough game. Originally, I was going to take the Bengals. Right now, this line is 1.5. It was 2.5. Originally, I was going to go 2.5 Bengals and then buy a half a point, make it +3, but they're betting the Chiefs now. So it's just too much to do that. So the Chiefs are -1.5. I'm going to switch my play. Give me Kansas City -1.5 because it's kind of a revenge game for the Chiefs. And look, the Chiefs need to beat the elite in the AFC. They did lose to the Bills. I don't want them to lose in Cincinnati because if they lose to these teams, and it shows me they're going to struggle in the playoffs this year. So they need to beat the Bengals. They need to beat this team just to keep it competitive. So give me the Chiefs -1.5 on this. Don't love it, but that's the way I'm going to go. It's 1.5. Patrick Mahomes can do it. 6-5. This is the So we're continuing on. This is the last game of the afternoon game. 6-5 Chargers at the Raiders. 4-7 AFC West matchup. Chargers are coming off a win. They just squeaked by the Cardinals, but we had the cover on the Cardinals last week, so that was one of our wins. Against the Raiders. We liked Seattle Seahawks last week, and the Raiders screwed us at the end with that Josh Jacobs touchdown. That's how it goes sometimes. These are tough division games. These are generally tight, but I think the Chargers are the better team of the two. I know it's in Vegas, and the Raider fans are going to be very rowdy for this game. I cannot take the Raiders for this game. Give me this San Diego Chargers, formerly the San Diego Chargers. Give me the LA Chargers -1.5, and I'm going to make that my second best play this week. So Chargers will be my second best play. They need to win this game to have a shot at the wild card. I think the Chargers are going to try for this game. And the Raiders, I just don't trust them. I know they look good the last couple of weeks or look decent. I still don't trust them. You watch a few games from the beginning of the year, they're a team you want to avoid. Second best play this week is going to be the Chargers. My best play this week is going to be the Texans plus the 7 points. And my second best is going to be the Chargers plus the 1.5. Moving on, 4-7-1 Colts. This is the night game. Very interesting night game. I think, man, they should have made the night game the Niners and Dolphins. But hey, who am I? I just have my little show here. At the Cowboys, 8-3. Cowboys are gigantic favorites in this game. -11 points, understandably so. Colts, I've taken the Colts recently, and they've been covering. I did go against them last week, though, because the Steelers beat them. But the week before that, they played the Eagles. They covered that game, and then they beat whoever it is they beat the week before. So this is what we're going to do. It's a lot of points, but I'm going to lay it. The Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFC. The Colts are in disarray. Okay, they're competitive, but they're in disarray. They have a new coach. They have they keep flipping quarterbacks. I think Matt Ryan's back now. It's Sunday Night Football, and the Cowboy fans, they should be able to beat them by more than 11 points. I'm gonna lay it. Minus 11, Cowboys. That's the way we're going to go on this game. And then moving on to Monday night. Okay, we got another division game. This is an NFC South game. 4-8 Saints plus the Buccaneers 5-6. The Buccaneers are a team I tend to pick against. I picked against them last week. That ended up working out. And then the Saints last week, they didn't score a point against the Niners, but the Niners defense is just on another level. I'm going to give the Saints another shot here. We get 4 points. I don't trust Tom Brady. I don't trust the Buccaneers. And I'm not going to take the Buccaneers. I don't think anymore this year. I just don't like the way they're playing. I don't like the whole, just the system and the quarterback and the drama. And they're not the same team. They're kind of like the Rams. They're not the same team as they were a year ago. So I'm fading the Rams and fading the Buccaneers for most of these weeks. It's been working out. So give me the Saints plus 4. Don't love it, but that's just the way we're going to go. Okay, and that's my picks for week 13. Subscribe, comment, email me. Hope you enjoy my videos. Thank you very much. Best of luck, week 13. Yield Chief Sports. Thank you.